Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today I want to give you guys a bonus video because it is time to reveal the card that Blizzard has sent me. Now this is a real card, and it is the new Shaman Legendary coming up in the Whispers of the Old Gods expansion. And without further ado, it is Halaziel the Ascended. And, I mentioned that part about it being a real card because it is a pretty unreal card. Out of all the cards I've seen from the Old Gods expansion so far, I think it is absolutely the best one. And the best part about it is it has strictly control design behind it. So we really see that Blizzard is very strongly pushing not only for a control theme in the standard format, but it's also pushing some of the classes, particularly Shaman, that have really struggled in this domain. So, why do I think this card is so incredible? Now, it has really good stats. So 5 mana, 4/6 is really just premium stats. If you're going in a back and forth game, you don't really need to have like taunt or something like that. So it does double up for some of the best minions in the game, even if it didn't have an ability for the 5 mana slot. And outside of a few other cards that are not so desirable these days, the 5 mana slot is pretty weak, even for Shamans who do have a few 5 mana class cards that try to occupy the slot. So they just don't. And Halaziel, I believe, will. Now, how does this card really interact with its ability? So whenever your spells deal damage, you restore that much health to your hero. Healing in the game is so valuable. It's probably one of the most valuable aspects if you're trying to play a controlled type of deck or theme, or you just want to have a little bit extra to synergize with your other spells. So while it is, I think that the design behind the card is a control centered, it's not necessarily control, but as you'll see, I think it scales a lot better with control cards. So you can be playing just a typical mid-range Shaman, just throw this card in there, and your single target removal will heal you when you're really desperate to be healed. And that situation does come up a lot of the time, and it not only acts that way, but it sets up very strategic decision making throughout the game. So you might be called the decision, do I want to Rockbiter a minion or do I want to Lightning Bolt a minion? If I save the Rockbiter, I can gain much more damage from a Wind Fury effect, but if I save the Lightning Bolt, I can, hopefully draw into my Halaziel Legendary Shaman minion and maybe heal, and that difference in health might end up winning the game for me. So it not only has this amazing presence, it also allows, some of the best players in the game to really think about all of their decisions and get the most out of their entire deck list. Now, I mentioned that it scales better with control cards. Control spells that Shamans have are generally the ones that do damage to multiple minions rather than face. So most of the aggressive decks and most of the mid-range decks, they will include cards that just do, damage to one target. And, that will work with this guy. Their spells, they deal damage and they will heal you. And, again, that's a very valuable aspect. But they won't really heal you for as much as some of the board clears. So if you compare a card like Lightning Bolt, which you see in a mid-range or more aggressive Shaman list, to like Lightning Storm, which you generally see maybe one of in a mid-range list and definitely two of in a control list, Lightning Storm can heal you for, a ton of life, especially if you scale it with spell damage. So if your opponent has a filled board, you get a spell damage roll on your totem, you Lightning Storm, you could just heal for all of your health. That is actually possible. So it is pretty amazing. There are other board clears that scale very well off this card. There's Elemental Destruction. Now, you probably wouldn't want to play this guy and almost kill off your minion that you just played, but sometimes that will be a pretty powerful effect. I think the one card that works exceptionally well with Halaziel is the Forked Lightning. Forked Lightning is, again, very strictly a control card. It is a bit of a tempo card, but because of the after effects of Overload, I don't really think it makes too many tempo-ish lists, probably just the control list. And if you scale it with spell damage, you might be healing for 6 and killing like 2 minions for just 1 mana. So all these like huge plays are going to really bring back the game in a big way. And that is really what control decks are about. They're staying in the game just just barely up until a specific point where they can really turn the game around substantially in 1 or 2 turns, and then, push to a situation where they just can no longer lose. And this card supports that probably better than any other to date. So some very exciting stuff is going on in the Old Gods, and well, I think every direct damage shaman spell from here on out is going to be a lot more exciting thanks to this card. Hope you guys enjoyed the reveal. Thanks to Blizzard for letting me do this, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.